programs. Currently, Zambia commissioned their School of Hospitality in Zambia. That's for the entire African continent, and it will be supported by UN Tourism and the private sector. So off to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, we had the first gastronomy regional meeting, which was also shepherded by UN Tourism, and we had an opportunity to see the exhibitions, food exhibitions by several other countries who were fortunate to have qualified for that. But what is interesting and what would really, be of interest to all of us here is the fact that Sierra Leone put in a proposal to host the third regional UN Tourism Gastronomy Forum in Africa here in Sierra Leone. So in 2026, Sierra Leone is honored and has received the approval to host the third United Nations. That for us is huge because one thing that we did also advocate very actively and passionately during our discussions is that Sierra Leone is known for its food and its fashion, and that was definitely exhibited very well, during our meetings. And based on the proposal that we put forward, a very compelling and convincing proposal, UN Tourism has accepted, this proposal to host the meeting. And you all know that our primary objective as a Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs is not just to only protect and preserve our touristic products and offerings, but it's also to increase arrivals. And that single conference itself in 2026 would, increase arrivals substantially, aside from the other meetings that we're expecting to hold. The second thing we also had, during important, announcement that needs to be made here as well, is that we have what is termed as the Women in Tourism Leadership African Committee. It's for short, it's WITLAC, and it's a committee of women leaders in Africa that are operating within the tourism and culture landscape. And this committee was formed based on the requests from African female ministers operating within, the tourism landscape. A couple of years ago, it was launched in Ghana, and Sierra Leone was given the opportunity to chair, and we're still holding the chairperson position. And during a brainstorming meeting that we had with, I think we had about 8 ministers, female ministers from Africa there, we agreed to also host a WITLAC conference here in Sierra Leone from the 29th to the 31st of October this year. So in October this year, we will be receiving ministers of tourism across Africa. We'll also be receiving experts and leaders in the tourism sector in Sierra Leone for 3 days to brainstorm and further shape the objectives of this WITLAC committee. And the objectives will eventually be put forward at a continental level so that we would have some amount of concrete action to address the 67% or more women who are employed within the tourism landscape. So this is the second highlight of the